Hello everybody, this is Fronito Bob and you're welcome to race number 44 of the 2020-21 NROL Skittles Cup Series season. This is the Nova Bus 399 at the Denver Motorsports Park. So, we saw quite an interesting Siemens Nash this year yesterday, and we've also seen quite an interesting Skittles Cup Series season in the playoffs. Various races indeed. Motegi was quite something. First was a bit boring, but still interesting, and All Club, well, All Club was a bit of a wreck fest. And now we come to race number 4 of the 2020-21 NRL Skittles Cup Series playoffs. So, what can we expect at this race today? Well, as I just put my iPad away, and yeah, so what can we expect today? Well, should be interesting stuff indeed. Now as far as who's wearing the points, well, I actually don't know. I might flash something up on, actually not. You guys, if you guys really want to know where the points are, just check the point settings from the last race. If you watch the Siemens Nash Series race, you would know that I'm not really going to be focusing too much on continuity for now. And, well, since we're just reaching the midway point in the Skittles Cup Series playoffs, I'm not going to worry about points too much. But, of course, we will focus more on the points later on. But, for today, it is, well, I was done the race. So, with all that in mind, let's now give you the starting group for the race. Starting on pole is Tim Tom, alongside second is Fronito Bobbin, third is Duck, fourth is Bank Coaches, fifth is Brad Keselowski, sixth is Kevin Harvick, seventh is Joe Logano, eighth is Alex Bowman, 9th is Praser, 10th is Douglas, 11th is Chris Butcher, 12th is Gridgen, 13th is Chase Elliott, 14th is Matt DiMatteo, 15th is Clint Boyer, 16th is Russell David, 17th is Ryan Blaney, 18th is Donald, 19th is Martin Sr., 20th is Matt Canada, 21st is Eric Jones, 22nd is Kurt Busch, 23rd is Eric Gamrola, 24th is Felix Buck 3rd, 25th is Darrell Oliver, 26th is Kyle Busch, 27th is Jimmy Johnson, 20th is Rebecca, 29th is Tyler Reddick, 30th is William Byron, 31st is Cole Custer, 32nd is Danny Hamlin, 33rd is my boy Ryan Preece, 34th is Christian Bell, 35th is Brad Edmond, 36th is Nia, 37th is Alice Stone, 38th is Daniel 6, 39th is Vinicius here, 40th is Bob Walsh, 41st Ross Hussein, and 42nd is Durper. And you may have said my boy Ryan Preece. Well, I mean, I'm a fan of everybody, but don't bum most sports guys, but I really want Ryan Preece to do well. I know, I'm extremely biased, but, you know, I look up for my drivers, even as the guy, well, okay, I know as the guy in the commentary booth, I should probably, you know, look at everyone equally, but, sausages. So, like I was saying about the points, I don't really know them, but the thing is, though, about these the points, or at least the objective for today is really just to get out of trouble. Wherever you are in the playoffs, just have a good day, and the better you do, the better chance you'll actually have at running for a championship. Also, just want to apologize in advance for any frame drops. If you didn't watch Siemens Nash's race, I'm running on a new copy of Aaron 2003 because my copy that was used before is now all broken and messed up. This copy does run better, but at the same time, you know, it's all just. But anyway, Fronito Bobbin, of course, the highest running playoff driver. Well, I always said I was a playoff driver. I don't know. And whatever. That's all sausages now. So, anyways, green flag is in the air for the Nova Bus 399 at the Denver Motorsports Park. Let's see who can do well today. Tim Tom on the bottom lane. Actually, not much jogging for position, which is probably a safe way to go about it. I actually wonder how these Cup guys are going to take this race compared to Siemens Nash's driver yesterday, who just crashed just about every lap. It's clean so far, as Brad Keselowski and Duck, a couple of drivers already making moves as they go 4 wide for second. Yep. Nobody giving anybody an inch. Here comes Joey Logano. And they reached 225 miles an hour on the straightaway? Okay. And Formula Bobbin falling back. Oh dear. Here comes Tim Tom. It's a clean start. We've made it 2 laps. Or, I say that. And now we've officially made 2 laps, and the caution is out. Well, no, we didn't make it 2 laps under green. Oh boy, this is gonna be one of those races. Well then, let's now go back in time and see what happened to bring out this crash, or this first caution of the day. I think one thing we should be looking out for is a big pileup. Speaking of which, we might already have that as actually multiple rookies getting together. Chastain actually makes move out a couple spots, but it looks like those spots have now been ruined. But I think it is Christopher Bell. Let's see. Oh no, it was Hamlin and Kurt Busch. Hang on, let's go back a little bit. Denny Hamlin getting into it with Kurt Busch. And Hamlin and, or no, Chastain and Bell were just in the wrong place a long time. As Denny Hamlin now goes for a tumble. And that is immediately going to take more driver than Chastain, unable to avoid it. And just like that, Ross Chastain already out of this race. Which is kind of unfortunate, as Chastain should have been a promise at the start of the race, but unfortunately it's just... Handshakes involved, but Wallace with a really bad hit. Cole Custer, Puff driver. But, to be fair, Cole Custer really hasn't been that good in these playoffs. I mean, Custer, he was... For a while, he was the last driver to make it on points. Then he became the second to last driver, as Wilson David almost did make the playoffs. And it shows, as Cole Custer has not been impressive in these playoffs so far. I think. That's me just assuming based on previous races. Which is just assumptions based on memory. Anyways. Oh, Russell David, though, moving all the way up to 12th. Now, this is the same bit of the same song and dance because Russell David was up in the pack early on last week at All Club. And ultimately now amounted to nothing as he would inevitably crash. And is this Chastain in the like? Oh no, that's turn 4. Turn 2 and turn 4 look really similar. And Custer, I guess, the last guy to actually stay on the racetrack. Cole Custer, I guess, was pretty safe through that crash. But Custer, he's got to think about doing better because Custer's playoff has not been good. So Stenhouse, carrying 6, Nia, Kyle Busch, Christopher Bell, continuing this race. Ooh, Danny 6 would have been raised with Nia. And Kurt Busch out here as well. Oops. So Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, and Ryan Newman. Looks like those guys are done for the day. Lights out. Okay. Ooh, the trigger actually updated as we're about to go back green flag racing. So pausing for just a moment. Oh. Okay, pausing for a moment. So Derper's done, Chastain's done, Hamlin's done, Ballwall's done, and Ryan Newman are out of this race. So 37 cars remain. And with that in mind, here we come to the restart box. And green flag in the air once again in Denver. Driver's already going 2 lanes wide at the start. And Duck, currently your race leader, and his Solo Sports 2 teammate of Douglas is right there behind him, and the other Sky as well. Donald is not too far behind either. Actually, a lot of Solo drivers up here. Ooh, Duck though, nearly gets squared in, but Duck gonna keep it going straight. And now he's still in a sandwich of Solus drivers. We have the 2 number 9 cars right next to each other. Is Chase still gonna make it 3 wide? No, he isn't, but Douglas or Donald might. And it's a 1-2-3 running for Solus Motorsports 2, as the 2 Scottish twins are now doing battle with each other for the lead. Yeah, I can't believe, but the Scottish twins are now running 1-2. Bit of a rarity. You don't see that too often. But Douglas, oh man, they are not giving each other an inch though. Looks like just because they're brothers does not mean they're gonna race each other nice. But Doug, a playoff guy though, he needs these points more than those 2, so. Yep, there they go. Oh, here comes Chris Buescher though, as they are continuing to hit each other on the end of the corner. We're still in the green. But Doug, though, gonna get the lead here. Here comes Kevin Harvick. A lot of Ford guys up here, actually. Man, the Blue Ovals really came to show today. And Harvick with a run on the back straightaway. And Kevin Harvick is gonna floor into the lead. Ooh, not quite though. Duck still holding him off. Can't quite do it though. And now, a couple other Ford guys. Here comes Joe Logano, Chris Buescher, and Eric NROL all coming up here to do battle. So far though, we have remained clean. Seems like the Cup Series might be the best series for this track. As so far, there has not been any cautions since the first one, which is pretty cool. And Joey Logano getting a bit of a push on the back straightaway from Eric NROL. Ford cars continuing to work together. And Eric NROL on the inside lane though. Here he comes. Oops. Some drivers on pit road for some reason. And 3 wide for the lead. And Duck, the Great Western Engine, continues to lead this race. And as a playoff driver, Duck needs those points more. Well, yeah, obviously. Obviously, the playoff guy needs the points more than the regulars. Actually, a lot of regulars up here. Eric Jones is actually the next playoff guy on back. And we did have a playoff driver win the Siemens National Series race here just yesterday of Fubi Lexipulse. Let's see if maybe we can go 2 for 2 for playoff drivers. But Eric NROL though will run the low line as they hit the wall. Here comes Bang Coaches. A Chevy, actually multiple Chevy drivers. You got Bang Coaches followed up by a couple Henrik Motorsports drivers. Giselle and Alex Bowman trying to get into the mix here. Next, we're already catching up to some lap traffic here. And I tell you what though, this is a much cleaner race than the Siemens National Series. So one point of interest that is worth mentioning. I forgot what the point of interest was. Never mind. Anyway, Duck continue to do battle with Eric NROL as they continue to scrape the outside wall. I tell you what though, we're only 13 laps in. This race is already cleaner than the Siemens National Series race and the Truck Series race that was here a lot earlier in the season. So the Cup Series seems to be the best series for this track. Or maybe just the drivers just know what they're doing. Which is a little bit weird because this is a bit of a first-time race, although maybe it's not a first-time race. Maybe Denver was secretly a Cup Series track at one point before this. I'm not sure, actually, but Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the history is of Denver, but either way, drivers are racing quite cleanly. There's not been any caution since the first one. So we should see a good, fun, competitive race. Which is probably the most important thing in the Cup Series. I mean, what we've seen in the Cup Series so far, we saw a pretty clean race at Motegi. A pretty dull, but also clean race at Paris. We then saw a demolition derby of a race at All Club. But now we're seeing another clean race here at Denver. So 3 out of 4 races are clean, so... But let's just say this. Let's just say... Oh, and they go, boy, but I think it's going to end here. As Duck gets into it with Chris Buescher, and Duck is out of control. Here's the playoff driver, he goes straight to the back, and he's on. Oh, no! We went this far without a crash, but unfortunately, it wasn't meant to last. As the second caution of the day has come out here at Denver. And Duck, the Great Western Engine, has lost control of his car. So let's see what happened here. They were going 3 wide for the lead here as Duck got into it with Chris Buescher. And Chris Buescher, let's look at him first. Chris Buescher actually made it through unscathed, but Duck has failed to regain control of his car, and as a result of that, he is now coming straight back onto the racetrack, and playoff driver is about to collide here as he just narrowly misses Keselowski. No, Keselowski gets hit as well from the side, but the worst comes to worst as Duck has a very, very hard collision with another playoff driver, and that is Percy Serp. So a couple playoff drivers getting together of Percy Serp and Duck, and there's another playoff driver. It is Ryan Preece, another driver who just barely misses it. But Fronito Baba, though, is the luckiest of all of these guys, and it just makes it through really, really closely. Now, we're going to look at this in greater detail in just a moment. Actually, right now, let's look at a couple of these other guys, though. Ryan Preece, another playoff driver who got involved in this action. Let's see what happened from his perspective, or at least what happened from afar. So, Matt Kenseth as well, who got hit by Duck, an out-of-control Duck, is sent into the front of Ryan Preece, and Preece does make contact with Matt Kenseth. And again, and Ryan Preece actually just narrowly, oh my goodness, look at that. Ryan Preece having to stop on the racetrack to avoid a spinning Matt Kenseth, and it looks like he is going to make it through with a bruised car. Now that wasn't all though. Let's see what else happened. The rear Xbox third also got involved. Pretty hard lick for him. William Byron. Oh, Cole Custer. I was just saying how unimpressive his playoff run is, and Cole Custer, another playoff driver in the wrong place at the wrong time, gets into it with Percy Serp. That's likely going to end him and his race. Anybody else? Looks like everyone on back though did avoid this crash. And one of those drivers is actually Russell David here, who's actually not having a very good day. Russell David all the way back here in 34th. This crash, though, should help him out, and he will likely pit as well and make some adjustments to his car. So Russell David, actually really lucky, wasn't even anywhere close to this crash. So Russell David still in this crash. But now let's look at it from an alternate perspective, because there were some really, really, really near miss or close calls. So first of all, let's look at Fronito Baba, who is another driver who's been in need of a good race. So what we're going to do here is pause the action here. We're going to ride in the chase cam for Fronito Baba. Okay, the far chase cam so we can see more stuff. Let's slow it down by a lot. So look at this. So you have the crash happening right in front of Fronito Baba, and you have out of control Percy Serp. You have Matt Kenseth who's about to hit Percy Serp, and then Fronito Baba, and the crash still happening. Fronito Baba still trying to slow down, but look at this. Matt Kenseth just narrowly gets out of the way. Duck actually gets a bit of air here. And actually, so you have 2 cars right in front of him that get some air. You have the rear Xbox who's just coming down. Okay, here we go. The first lick. And Fronito Baba only makes the slightest amount of contact with the rear Xbox nerd and Percy Serp. Look at that. That is how close Fronito Baba was to this crash here. And just like that, Fronito Baba only narrowly makes it through unscathed. And now for the other driver that we've been looking out for, Ryan Preece. He was another driver who just barely made it through unscathed. He actually already had some rear end damage here. But let's see what happens here, what continues to unfold here. So once again, you have Duck, who's gonna get hit by Percy Serpent stuff. And they have Matt Kenseth, who's going to get hit. Actually, another thing worth mentioning, Jimmy Johnson and Tyler Reddick were here as well. They just made it through unscathed, but they're not plug drivers, so we're not going to focus on them too much. Here we go. So Matt Kenseth gets sent high, and Ryan Preece with nowhere to go slams on the brakes, but can't avoid him, and he hits Matt Kenseth from the side and sends Matt Kenseth into a roll. And if we split the exit just a little bit, so he hits the outside wall, and then Ryan Preece actually hits. He touches Matt Kenseth again, and then Priest is able to jam right on the brakes. I think he avoided any more contact. I think he might have also made a little bit of a touch with the Real Xbox Nerd, and he did touch Matt Kenseth again. But all things considered, this could have been a much worse accident for Ryan Preece, and Preece will safely continue. Oh. And actually, just another near miss is Dangerous Hicks. What a crash. Wow. Welcome to an episode of Analyzing the Big One. Well, fortunately, that's the crash. So now we can slow it down a little bit, catch our breath, and continue. So Clint Bowyer now gains the lead of the race due to what just happened. And it looks like, though, everyone is coming down pit road. Yeah, so the vast majority of the field is coming down pit road this time by for a service. The drivers back here are still trying to figure out where to go. So let's watch some of the action here on pit road. Tell you what, this race has been something to watch. We at least made a good few laps without a caution flag, so that's good. But cautions still happen. So hopefully the field's going to come back or off of pit road in the same way that they came on to pit road. So see how the field lines up behind the pace car. So driver is coming in for a service likely to last to the end of the race. Well, so David actually has used the opportunity to pick up with the... Actually, did Russell come on a pit road in that time by? He didn't. Oh no, there were a few exceptions. Some drivers did stay out. And one of those drivers is Russell David. So if we look here, speed up a little bit. So they did actually slow up a little bit. I guess that was to keep pace with the drivers coming on to the racetrack. So Russell David did not pit, but maybe it's for the best that he didn't pit, as Russell David does need to make up those spots. So various other drivers going back onto the racetrack. For Bob been down to 16th, but actually I say down to 16th. He was down in the 20s. He actually made up a few spots thanks to that crash, and still in the race. But I tell you what, though, Freundeboben was just a couple inches away from not being in the race anymore. So Freundeboben had one of the luckiest escapes of his whole career. That's a good time to have it, as Freundeboben in the playoffs needs to improve his points position. And actually, a good number of cars all on pit road. And it looks like Ryan Preece, who I actually just commented for making through that crash, might be out of this race. So that near miss. I mean, Ryan Preece, it looked like he didn't take that much damage from the crash, but it looks like the damage was bad enough to a point where he may not be in the race anymore. Which would not be good for his playoff run. Actually, a number of playoff drivers are not in this race anymore. Well, stayed up to 8th. So some playoff drivers still in it. Others, though, not. So if we fast forward a lap. So now we'll exit out of here. Okay, I just need to pause the race and then go out of here. There we go. Nope. Still didn't work. Okay. Well, anyways. Actually, a lot of guys out of this race. Or a lap down. So you have a number of drivers, including Ryan Preece. Although Preece did exit the race in 24th. So it still at least salvaged some points from this race. There actually aren't very many playoff drivers. Okay, well, Purser actually gonna get credit with last. Not good for him. Who else? Duck, he's out. Priest is out. So actually, only a few out of many other playoff drivers are out of the race. So speaking of who's in and who's out, we actually are now already down to 21 cars still in this race. So we did go a number of laps under green. However, that caution that came out did take out a number of cars. So that was quite a big accident indeed. And yeah, all those cars in pit road were likely... I mean, we might see a couple... Maybe some guys will come back onto the racetrack, but... we have to just wait and see. Well, anyways, so that was that crash. Made a good number of laps before having another crash, but it is time to go green flag racing once again. Kurt Busch in the bottom lane. Got a decent launch. But ultimately, it's Clint Boyer who's out in the lead. And driver is already jockeying for a position. And Alex Bowman gonna get out in front. Bank Coach is here too. To my knowledge, I don't think Bank Coach has a win this season. Ooh, Harvick. Though having a bit of fun with Alex Bowman here. A couple of Chevy drivers, a couple of Ford drivers here as well. There's some crunching in the wall. And no caution. Harvick actually lost a couple spots. Wait, didn't? No, he didn't lose a couple spots. He was already in 3rd. Never mind. Alright, the field as a whole is starting to spread out. Well, David, though, in 8th. Well, David kind of all by himself. So he's going to have to pick up the pace a little bit. Oh, Ryan Blaney. Actually, Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. Did I confuse Truex with Eric Jones at one point? I don't know. They both drive the races car, but no, Martin Truex Jr. is actually one of the races car, not Eric Jones. I do apologize though if that confused anybody. But in my defense, they both drive the same looking racers car. Actually, come to think of it, both Eric Jones and Mark Truex are actually both driving red and black cars in this race. So it is a bit difficult to tell them apart. Anyway, Martin Truex Jr. though, doing battle with Ryan Blaney, and here's Bank Coaches trying to make up a spot on Kevin Harvick. Where it shows a little bit of speed on Ryan Blaney. But now cars are starting to get close to each other. Right now it seems like they're in pairs. So here Alex Bowman is trying to get a run on Clint Boyer. Ooh, Boyer scrapes the wall. That is likely going to put Alex Bowman in the lead here. If I can remember, Alex Bowman does have one win on the season. That came in a dominating fashion at Seekonk Speedway. And meanwhile, now a battle rages on for third between Bank Coaches and Kevin Harvick. So Bank Coaches, though, going to get the spot here. And Bank Coach is likely to make up a spot here on Kevin Harvick. As Clint Boyer and Alex Bowman continue to dance for the lead. And Boyer going to get back that lead. Clint Boyer also a one-win wonder this season, getting his win at the Pensacola Super Speedway. So let's go back a little bit here. Russell David moving up spot second, but he's now in a good battle with Eric Almirola. So it's just about to get to the halfway point of this race. So it's a little bit early to you know, decipher who's going to do what at when. But the battle race is on for first between, well, these two. So we got a battle for first, a battle for third. And here we have some battling here as well. Rebecca in a battle with Ryan Blaney. Blaney, though, going high. And Eric Almirola trying to succeed these guys on the bottom lane. Also met the though on the high lane. Brad Keselowski. Couple Penske Plov drivers actually doing battle with each other. And Eric Almirola's right in the middle of it. Joey Logano, I believe, is not in this race anymore. Is he? No, Logano not in the race anymore. But he's on the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter for him. Brad Keselowski, though, is in the playoffs, so for him, every position matters. Jimmy Johnson up here. That's one in front of Bobbin. He gets into it with Blaney. And Frodo Bobbin and Blaney, they've been doing with each other all season. Mostly was falling back to 17th. I'm not sure what's up with him today. Probably should have pitted. Clint Boyer trying to run away from Alex Bowman. And here comes Rebecca. Looks like she's trying to catch up to the front of the pack and do better with them. She currently runs 6th. We actually have a good number of one-time winners up here. Then you have Kevin Harvick, who has won 2 races, I think. Won at Dover and Bowman Gray. Martin Jr. has a few wins. Bank Coach is actually the highest running driver who currently has no wins. Ooh, Bank Coach rubs Truex. The choice was just to battle with Bank Coaches and still trying to battle with Bank Coaches, but Rebecca had picked up a few spots. Rebecca up to 4th. Rebecca now in an aggressive battle with, well, just about everybody. She just got past Bank Coaches, and now Rebecca trying to chase down Harvick. Now, one question worth bringing up. Are we going to see pit stops again in this race? Because a lot of drivers did pit on that second caution. Everyone except for a few. Russell David actually the only driver who did not pit under that caution flag. He is currently in 17th, which isn't terrible. but Rebecca once again in the battle with bank coaches. And bank coaches on that low line. Go back here, go Gibbs, guys. Actually, 3 playoff drivers now. We got Truex, Jones, and Keselowski. All doing battle with each other. So bank coach is still trying to hound Rebecca to get around her. Look at that. There he goes, bank coaches with the move. Can he make it work though? Not really. So Clint Boyer, currently the dominating car in this race. Field is now single file throughout. And Freund Bobbin has somehow fallen all the way back to 14th. Wow, neither the Toban Motorsports driver having a very good day. Wilson David, who started at the back, has moved up. But not far enough. And Freund Bobbin, though, who started high, has fallen back. So Toban Motorsports driver has really got to get it together. Eric Jones trying to pick up a few spots here. And Rebecca actually is getting back around bank coaches. I think bank coaches actually led Rebecca 1 lap, but man, this battle for 4th though just continues. Meanwhile, up front, Alex Bowman still trying to keep up with Clint Boyer. And this battle could go all the way to the end of the race. We'll have to see if the racing does continue or if we do have another caution. Kurt Busch, the lap down car, could make things interesting. Bank coach actually gets back around Rebecca with that corner. And man, what is up with the Toban Motorsports drivers? Now here comes Bowman again. Actually, I say again, the battle now actually resumes for first. Kurt Busch actually held that lead for quite some time. But Bowman trying everything he can to get it back. And here comes Kurt Busch, lap down car, could make things interesting. And Kevin Harvick is well getting into this fight. Kevin Harvick could take over the lead if he can play his cards right. And Alex Bowman back up to the front. And Kurt Busch, lap down car. Is he going to slow these guys up? Maybe. Yeah, he does. Kevin Harvick making up 2 spots in the same corner. Moves his way up to the front. New leader, Kevin Harvick. Actually, both Haas cars starting to work together now. Clint Boyer. Clint Boyer up here indeed. And Jimmy Johnson has found his way up to this battle. This could become a 3-way battle for 4th. But at the exact same time, we also have a 3-way battle for 1st. The lap down car could impact this race. Clint Boyer back up to the front. And now, we've actually just reset back to where we were before. And once again, it's Clint Boyer versus Alex Bowman for the lead. And Kevin Harvick, he is there, but he's not quite there. So Clint Boyer still trying to go side by side with Alex Bowman. Tell you what, though, I think this battle is going to go on all the way until the end of the race. Unless we have another caution, and maybe even unless these two tag each other. That did happen a couple times in the team advantages, even just today. A couple guys up front were running good, and then they tagged each other, and so went their race. We could see that happen between these two if they're not careful. No lap down car of Gudrun. Although based on how clean the racing has been in this race, I don't think we're going to see these two crash, so I think they will run all the way to the second flag. Meanwhile, Jimmy Johnson has joined the battle for fourth between Bank Coaches and Rebecca. So Jimmy Johnson is retirement season. As Gudrun scrapes the wall, and Cook Boyer not able to get around him quickly enough. And he loses a bit of ground. Or he loses his ground that he had on Harvick and Bowman. Now Harvick is back there once again to do some battle. And oh man, if these three could catch up to the leaders, we could see a six-way battle for the lead. How fun would that be? They are not too far back. They just have to get it around Gudrun, and then madness could commence. That is right, we are looking at a six-way battle for the lead here at Denver. How fun would that be? As the three gonna get right by Gudrun, although Keselowski shapes the wall and cautions out. I don't know what happened there, but I just saw a spin. Caution is out, though. Caution is out. What did I say? Caution is out once again in Denver. And that is going to stack these guys up. Saw the tire smoke, so the question is, what happened to bring out this caution? Let's see. So rewind a little bit more, and lights out. So what brought out this caution flag? Well, definitely wasn't these guys. Oh, Oh no, it was okay. Tim Tom and is that the second time that Matt DeBendo's gone to somebody? Anyway, Tim Tom and Matt DeBendo getting into each other on the turn 4 for some reason. Tim Tom goes for a spin. Nobody hits him though, and it's a harmless spin. Okay. So a very minor spin from Tim Tom. So only a minor caution to bunch the field back up. You think they're working together or something? I don't know. Rebecca's in a pretty good spot to win this race. And regardless of that, who we're going to see pit. Russell David's still not pitting. Kind of surprised. Maybe it's just is pit road like closed or something? Let's fast forward another lap. That's really just do it this way. Well, that's actually, I think they're gonna go out this time. Okay, so once again we come by this point, and no one is pitting. All right then. So Gudrun is here though. But with the way that things are looking, we are about to see a six-way battle for the win. None of these guys are playoffs, so this has no impact, or next to no impact on the actual championship standings. But we're still looking at an interesting end to this race. So here we come. Green flag back in the air in Denver. Less than 10 to go. And let's see how these guys do battle. Everyone gets equally as good of a launch. No side-by-side action. Here come through turn 1. Again, they're all pretty organized. They all stay up the wall. Harvick, though, with the best run, though. He gets a good run on the back straightaway. Could we see a battle between these? Yes, we are. They're already going multiple like 4 wide. 4 wide. For a second. That is exactly what I was anticipating. And even then, more people are joining the crowd. We have more drivers joining in for the race. For second. Jimmy Johnson up to second place. Bangkok is here as well. Rebecca, Keselowski, everyone is jogging for position. But who can catch up to Harvick? Keselowski on the inside line. Brad Keselowski gonna pop out with Eric Jones, and they're gonna do pretty good here. Ooh, guys, I'm having to brake a little bit. And that's gonna allow Brad Keselowski to get a good run in the bottom lane. Here comes Russell David. Just barely cracking the top 10. It'd be a good day for him. Ooh, Keselowski though getting into it. However, your race leader, Kevin Harvick, is long gone. Jimmy Johnson is anyone's last hope of Harvick not winning this race if he can catch up to him. And meanwhile, Bangkok and Rebecca have been battling each other for all this time, and they continue to battle. And Rebecca gonna get around Bangkok. He's gonna get against the wall. A little bit of tire smoke here. Not sure who that's from. Still green. So we just have 6 or so laps to go. Can Jimmy Johnson run down Kevin Harvick? Also, on a slightly unrelated note, the Tobon Motorsports guys, well, I think they're just trying to get the top 10 anyways. But never mind that, because we need to see this battle for the lead. So I know I said there's going to be a 6-way battle for the lead. Unfortunately, it's not going to be a 6-way battle for the lead. It's instead going to be a duel for the lead between Kevin Harvick and Jimmy Johnson. So 5 laps to go. Can Jimmy Johnson catch up to Harvick in these next laps? Meanwhile, Brad Keselowski making up a spot on Bangkok is Brad Keselowski, now the highest running playoff contender in this race. So this race is definitely going to shake up the playoff standings. And Jimmy Johnson is continuing to gain on Kevin Harvick. 4 laps to go. Can Jimmy Johnson get one more win in his retirement season? Or will Harvick best him to get his 3rd win of the season? I tell you what would be something for Harvick to win a race, or 3rd race. He's won it on 3 different tracks. First of which was a mile-long concrete oval. Next race was on a 1/4 mile short track. And it is on a 2-mile, somewhat super speedway. But Jimmy Johnson, though, is not giving up. Jimmy Johnson still with the speed. 3 to go. Can Jimmy Johnson catch him in time? I know I've asked the question a million times, but hey, it's a good question, okay? You never know. Man, slowly but surely through the corners, he is gaining. Jimmy Johnson might be able to get a good draft here. And he will. Jimmy Johnson closed the gap. He goes low. And Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick are now going to be side by side with each other with 2 laps to go in Denver. 2 laps to go. I'm sure the Jimmy Johnson fans will be super happy to see their man get one more win before it's all over. But he still sold him off. Harvick with a better run through turn 2. And Harvick going to go into the inside lane here. But Jimmy Johnson is going to block. And they duel on the back straightaway. Kevin Harvick is likely going to go on the inside line here. But so does Jimmy Johnson. But Kevin Harvick with a better run through the corner here. Could Jimmy Johnson keep the lead? Ooh, Harvick having to brake check a little bit. Jimmy Johnson keeps the lead. And here we go. White flag. Warm up to go in Denver. And Jimmy Johnson is now your leader. He's got a decent gap on Kevin Harvick. Does Harvick have enough time to close the gap? I don't think so. Harvick, quite a bit of distance. Meanwhile, the battle for third does continue. A couple of puff drivers, actually. Erik Jones has found his way up to third, and Brad Keselowski battling as well. And here we go through the final corner. Jimmy Johnson and Harvick, though, taking the same line. And Harvick is unable to get the run. And the Jimmy Johnson fans will celebrate. And Jimmy Johnson wins the Nova Bus 399 at Denver. Jimmy Johnson, with what is potentially his last win in the Cup Series. Well, it was cool seeing this race end under green. As we saw quite the battle between Jimmy Johnson and Kevin Harvick. But ultimately, it is the 7-time champion who will best the likes of everyone today. And will win his 84th NASCAR Cup Series race. Well, it was a pretty good race. Much better than the Siemens National Series race. We only had 3 cautions, so that was nice. So another good, fun race. Let's hope we can keep this good, fun racing going on all the way till the end of the season. So then, let's go over your finishing position. Jimmy Johnson with the win. Kevin Harvick comes on second. Erik Jones in third. Erik Jones with a surprise 3rd place. I mean, it was up there. Well, Harvick, Erik Jones, yeah. Well, okay, let's say that Erik Jones was a bit of a sausage to this race, but he came in a clutch and got a 3rd, which is pretty good. Should help Erik Jones in the playoffs. Same for Brad Keselowski as well in 4th. Glenn comes on 5th, Rebecca at 6th. Rebecca in 7th, Ryan Blaney in 8th, and front of up in 9th. Another pair of playoff drivers with a pretty good day. Stood up their chances of winning the title. Alex Boone comes home in 10th. Eric Earl 11th. Tyler Reddick 12th. Chase Dillon 13th. Matt DiBenedetto 14th. Martin Jr. 15th. And Russell Davis 16th. And top 20 finish. Could have been better, but... Well, could have been worse, but could have been better. So, we'll have to see how that impacts their playoff run. Nia comes home in 17th. Kyle Busch in 18th. Oliver in 19th. Tim Tom's 20th. Grudgeon 21st. Kurt Busch 22nd. James 6 24th. Ryan Preece with another bad race. I mean, he finished 24th, which isn't terrible, but not good if you're a playoff driver. So Ryan Preece got some work to do in the next 6 races. Douglas comes home in 25th. Donald 26th. Joe Logano 27th. Chris Busch 28th. The Brooks Reserve 29th. William Brown 30th. Duck 31st. Another bad day for playoff drivers. Same for Pursuit with the 2nd. Matt Kenseth 33rd. Cole Cause 34th. Right now, the worst running playoff driver. Austin Dillon comes home in 35th. Christian Bell 36th. Rachel Shearer 37th. Gerber 38th. Ross is 39th. Dan Hamlin 4th. Bo Walsh 41st. And Ryan Newman 42nd in last. Well, that's it from Denver. Next week should be another interesting week in the NROL universe in the Skittles Cup Series and the Siemens National Series as well. But that's all for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in whatever I make next.